Now some see only for a moment, but life in the south, life forsake, face daily, the hunting dogs, haunting feeling of being found, and the hunter holds your life in hand. Now some see, if only for a moment, what blacks face today when walking alone at night in southern streets or in urban parks or gated communities, when choices and lifestyles mean you're threatened, attacked each and every day. Now some see, if only for a moment, when fear reigned supreme, when insurgency showed just how deep divisions have cut into this nation's soul. Some finally see the undeniable, inevitable fragility born of short-sighted, self-destructive tendencies of a society structured in duality and steeped in control. Yes, now some see.
License and registration, he can sense your aggravation.
On the head of the fallen
Remind me that
angel.
this is a team effort. Remind me to keep going.
Time, my shirt.
Did you know that your hands came with a ripple effect?
We got the same dreams. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears win by any means poetry.
Sway, look at me. Is a piece of the pie too good for me?
Some may call it rock the mic. We call it poetry.
Hello, welcome to Sojourn with Words. I'm Sistah Joy, host of Sojourn with Words, and also we are here today with one of the premier poets of Prince George's County. I'm speaking of Pages Matam, and many of you know him for his, oh my gosh, his years of work in the poetry community, but I'm gonna let you hear from him about that. Why don't we start first with me sharing a little bit of words about our guest poet. Now, Pages Matam is from Cameroon, Central Africa, but currently calling Washington, D.C. home. Pages is an international award-winning writer and performer, a teaching artist, a pleasure activist, and creative with well over a decade of experience in various practices. His aim throughout his travels and endeavors as an artist who centers intersectional Black liberation and ethical alignment is to share his gift in order to build a sustainable community. Now that's a mouthful, but when I tell you, this is somebody who's done so much, will be good to get just a microcosm of Pages in today's episode. Let me talk a little bit more about some of his credits. He is the National Fair Housing Alliance Cultural Ambassador. Let's see, Callaloo, a journal devoted to creative work by and critical studies of the work of African Americans and peoples of African descent through the African diaspora. So he's connected with Callaloo. DC Commission of the Arts and Humanities Fellow. Again, the 2020 Creates Resident, National Poetry Slam Champion, Busboys and Poets Director of Poetry Events from 2015 through 2020. I could go on, but truly you get the point. This is somebody who's making waves, making headway, making poetry relevant everywhere he goes. Pages, why don't I open the mic to you to tell us what would you want the community to know about Pages Matam and even what's on the horizon, because you're a mover and shaker and much is always happening in your world.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, let me say thank you so much, Sister Joy, for having me today. Shout out to the entire Sojourn with Words team. This is an amazing, amazing program. So I hope everybody gets to continue to tune in and keep having everybody tune in, because we need programs like these that celebrate our voices and celebrate the artists within our community. With that being said, I know, I always get sometimes so bashful about like, oh man, these accolades and things of that sorts, and getting shy about that. But right, yeah, I've been in the arts community for well over a decade, starting in. What's funny? I'll tell actually a funny story.
Okay.
You were the first open mic I ever went to in my entire life. The first poetry, arts open mic I ever went to. This is when you used to do an event over at the Starbucks and Gallery Place in the upstairs. That was the first.
Actually, no, that wasn't Starbucks. That was Barnes and Noble.
You're right. It was right. It got turned into a Starbucks. Yes, you are correct.
It was Barnes and Noble. Oh my gosh,
you are correct.
Going way back.
You are correct. You are correct. Yep, that was the first one. Oh my goodness. And you had the all-stars of the community in there. Patrick Washington, the Poem C's, Black Picasso. You had, 13 of Nazareth and Droopy and Dwayne and all these other magical human beings. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? People are saying words and performing, and you were there and you were an amazing host. And I was just like, I need to do more of this. So quite truthfully, a lot of these accolades and a lot of these things that you just exclaimed about me would not have been possible if it was not for you. So I want to start first by acknowledging you and thanking you for creating that space and for continuing to creating spaces as you are doing right now.
Well, thank you so much. Truly, you unearthed a part of my life that I really hadn't reflected on in quite a while. I did host at Barnes and Noble for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So we had developed quite a following before management changed its views on community engagement.
Yeah.
But hey, that's the way it rolls. But we keep rolling. We keep rolling. As is evidenced here today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Pages, I remember having you on Sojourn with Words when you were still in high school.
Yep.
And you were with, oh my gosh, were you with Neville or were you with Patrick? But a crew of you guys.
Yes, the movement poets. Oh, yes, man. And
I remembered having you, and you have blown up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Are you still in touch with any of those poets that you were connected with then?
Yeah, we still keep in touch. Not as much as we used to, but we still keep in touch. But everybody is still doing their thing. A lot of folks like, Vaughn the Wizard is in California now doing radio and media in California.
Queen Jyree is in Atlanta.
Yeah, Queen Jyree is in Atlanta. Real Nelson is still here in Maryland. In Maryland. Yep.
And I gotta get her on the show.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so, yeah, everybody is doing a thing, and it's been such an amazing journey to have started from, most people would think that I started in youth poetry, but to be quite honest, I started doing poems with the adults. I started in the adult circuit, which probably helped in kind of speeding my evolution a little bit, because when you're young, you think, you're the hottest thing, you get on Sojourn with Words and you think you're the hottest thing in the city, and then, you go to an open mic or even a poetry slam, which is where I got my start watching, adults in poetry slams, and me being a natural competitive person, even as a youngster. And me being so excited, I love a challenge. I was like, oh, whatever people can do, I can do it too. I've been on stage, I could do it. So I'm thinking I'm the hottest thing, because I'm the hottest thing coming out of PG County, Maryland. I just got this Maryland Youth Poet Laureate and do whatever. I can get on the mic. I can do so. Oh man, and I used to get my butt handed to me. Oh man, get my butt handed to me. And they would look at me and be like, youngster, you still got some things to get through. You still gotta develop, you still gotta hone your craft. And I'm so grateful for those experiences because
But
that's
you have been honing. You have definitely been honing.
Honing.
Setting things on fire.
Absolutely.
I know now you've been working as as a creative director, as a programming director coming up in DC.
Yeah.
When you talk about taking on such a really daunting role of leadership in the arts, what is it that centers you? What is it that's core to Pages that allows you to not get carried away, but to stay on mission?
Oh man, wow, that's a beautiful question. Honestly, as alluded to in the short bio that you read of mine, Black liberation, and that is my core. That is my center, and and liberation. It truly means that in order for none of us are free until all of us are free.
Okay.
And I think so when I go about doing my work in that way, everything has been about how can I create spaces where people can feel free to be themselves and to be their best selves. How can people have accessibility in order to be able to continue to sustain that freedom, right? And how can they then empower others to also, to also feel free and be free, and those are the great words of Toni Morrison. The purpose of freedom is to free someone else, and that is how I ride in all of the work that I do. It is always about just community and getting those who are willing to do the work and who are about doing the work, and to continue to create more spaces where others can come in and continue that work as well, and so on and so forth. And
it is work. It absolutely is work.
Absolutely.
Now, certainly, as an immigrant and an artist, constantly, I mean, you negotiate between relationships of language and cultures. How is it that you find, and do you sometimes present your poetry in different languages to connect with different communities and cultures?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been something, as I grew up more and as I got around to, honing that craft, it became more and more important to showcase that part of myself, because at an early age, it was a part of myself that I wasn't always super proud of. Right. And that's something that, unfortunately, because of parts of, the unfortunate parts of oppressive systems around, and often American idioms that don't celebrate particularly voices that are not white or male or Christian. Right. And so it's something that, for me, as I got older and more with that, and I was seeing the impact that even the small parts that I did share, and I would be like, whoa, you were so impacted by this. And so that became a glaring thing for me that, no, I need to lean in on this fully. And so I started honing my craft more in that. And in putting different parts of my culture, different languages in my poems. And I love it. It's brilliant. And it gets to showcase, those different parts of us and how we are not monoliths, as Black people, as Black creatives, as Black artists. And we have, such ability to reach, across land, across borders, across oceans, and across the stars. And it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Tell us, who are some of your favorite artists? Who influences Pages? We know Pages influences the world.
Oh,
but
man.
Who influences Pages?
Oh, man, that's such a difficult question because there's so many. But I mean, Toni Morrison, absolutely. Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Audre Lorde, Saul Williams,
Oh, so yeah.
Ainsley Burroughs, Portia Olayuola. Wow, I mean, I'm going through so many folks. Shout out to Phoenix, Neville Mew. Shout out to Phoenix. Shout out to Patrick Washington, Black Picasso. They were my first, two mentors in a game. Wow. Oh man, I mean, I could go on. There's so many. I could go on.
And that's the thing. We want our viewers to understand that the poetry doesn't operate in a vacuum.
Not at all.
We have to read other works of poetry. We have to listen to other poets. We have to support other poets. So that means, when we get back to attending live performances, when we have the opportunity to buy the products of the poets, that's crucial for any creative, whether you're a poet or any art form. But when we talk about Pages, how can Prince George's County residents and viewers of Sojourn with Words, how can we support you?
Oh man, this is I as I'm transitioning into different spaces, I'm entering a screenwriting part of life now. That is still very poetic, and I'm so grateful for poetry because it influences every part of my creative endeavors as a writer, whether I'm writing prose or working on this young adult novel, or where I'm doing screenplays. So please, just find me on wherever you put my name, Pages Matam. I'm all over the interwebs. I'm also doing series of workshops coming up very soon for National Poetry Month in collaboration with awful good writers. It's a new organization that's actually put together by Buddy Wakefield. And another fantastic poet that I looked up to.
So the organization is actually called
Awful Good Writers. Yes.
Look for that, Sojourn with Words viewers. Look for Awful Good Writers.
Look for that.
Don't forget that name.
You cannot forget that. So I'm doing a series of workshops with them for National Poetry Month, so be on the lookout for that and some exciting some things that I can't talk about right now. But I have some exciting things coming in the works. And so, just be on the lookout. Pages Matam everywhere.
Pages, what brings you joy?
Ooh, fried sweet plantains and some some fried sweet plantains, some gummy bears, some anime. I love me some anime. Absolument.
Thank you so much for being a guest here on Sojourn with Words. We're excited to have you. We're going to look forward now to hearing some of your poetry.
Yes.
So, what would it be without your poetry?
Absolutely.
So, Sojourn with Words viewers, stay put and let's hear poetry from Pages Matam, the one and only. And we're loving his energy, his love of poetry, but even more than that, his love and joy of life. Yes. Pages Matam from right here in Prince George's County.
Transmogrification spell before the rent goes up, or it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that go-go swing. It goes doo-wop, 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 doo-wop. It goes doo-wop for the Black mamas. May they smile like Benning Road before the Starbucks grew teeth. May Duke Ellington's trumpet cough up the South Side and Marvin Gaye's voice choke the skyrise out of Berry Farms. May the white plague of false kings and thieves who build chic glass empires with the bones of go-go be haunted by Chuck Brown's guitar. In the name of the children, the homies, the hood, and all of the ghosts, in the name of being at home and alive before and after the streetlights come on, before and after they said the revolution would not be televised. Instead, it will be played by Scarlett Johansson. Hear me out now. The sunrise is a promise to turn your wounds into daffodils, your heart loud as blunts forcing trauma out of the body. Ain't the tree still beautiful, even after its limbs gave birth to a swollen mass? Ain't the ocean still glimmer in waves despite the wild dream bottom? If the answer is hallelujah, then may the only thing dripping red from the meat be mumbo sauce. May the ohm of pop gum laughter and swinging black girl locks be a speak in tongues majesty you cannot steal or mugshot. May the body bag have an upset stomach and give all of my people back. This next piece, it is I love this poem, man. This poem is very near and dear to me, and it's a 7-part poem, but I'm only going to do a few parts from the series in itself. And if you want the full series, yeah, be on the lookout for the project coming out for that. All right. Adina Seba, l'anglais lingana titi. Mwende na di pa bol pa l'anglais. L'anglais n'est que ma 4e langue. English is only my 4th language. It is the baby of the family. It is the one my mouth spoils favorite by default, who may one day be sold off by all of its siblings in hopes to never return because all of my other tongues have grown so jealous. In my country of Cameroon, we have over 200 dialects. That's over 200 ways to say love, to say family, to say I belong to something that does not want to kill me, that does not want to siphon the goals from my flesh or the stories from my bones. You know, I was a house once, full of stories. One for this American dream. The other is me, still trying to translate the catacomb accents of my parents' tongues when they would say, "You have become so American now." What they would mean is, deport all of that tribe from your mouth. You talk like them now. You walk like them now. No more of that Yaoundé Cameroon stuck in my teeth. Now everything tastes like the steps to unbirthing a country, which is to say that America has a way of killing everything it comes from. A passport can feel like a smooth stamped death sentence. So I learned early how to fold myself into a flag, how to stitch myself a new name, a new set of stars. I was always able to pass through customs, but my tongue had to stay behind, which is to say, I remember when I was too Black for Africans and too African for Blacks, but all a meaningless story in America. My name was thick in chemically enhanced amendments. My name was wishing for a white picket flesh while living with Section 8 bones, which is to say that you can be a house, but America has a way of reminding you that you are not a home. You're only the debris, the aftermath, the constant reconstruction, the projects. They will say that you don't belong in the country that doesn't even belong to itself. But oh, America, I mean, show us your papers. I mean, who documented your dream? I mean, can the attack dogs still smell the unalienable right from my brittle and marginalized skin? Because I know that the bullet does not care which side of the ocean I am from. It will swim through my body all the same. It will try to make a home of me until my name is but a salted exit wound. But I know that my tongue is still patiently awaiting for my return. Yet I wonder if I would still feel like a stranger in my own house, which is to say, I hope to one day grow up to become a language that is always worth coming home to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to end the energy on a fantastic note. So I'm going to do a fun poem. This is something fun for me. The name of this poem is Ode to the Beard. And shout out to my students who did this prompt and who encouraged me to also do this prompt, which I will give to y'all, which is write a love poem to your least favorite body part. Okay? So this is Ode to the Beard. You scented oil shimmering alchemist, you other language of the beautiful, you soft tickler of faces, you leader in all of the awesome, you body roll in love below, you tamer of razors and scissors, you most unapologetic poem my chin has ever written. Why would you wait so long to offer me my glow up? To take me from Steve Urkel to Stefan Urkel, to take me from man-child to, ooh, that man-child. Thank you, bearded Black Jesus, for the thousands of follicles carrying a soft electric boogaloo, to the caress of hands ever so gently etched in a shimmering agreement. So, to all the members of Beard Gang, remember, gently comb, pick, brush frequently, shampoo and condition, keep the butters on deck because winter is coming. So, to you, dear Beard, you treasure chest of cuddles, you keratin chorus of hallelujahs, you garden of proteins, you ultralight beam, I promise to only feed you the most magnificent of oils, berries, and juices, and pledge to always keep you alive and well moisturized, because I've watched so many of us not get to be alive, that is. Moisturized by our own deep breaths and smiles. To be a man is to be one who pledges to the divine within themselves and not to what the world needs them or wants them to be. To be beautiful and unconventional is not to be a fragile thing, to be flowers rather than the cemetery they sit upon, to be patient and kind to ourselves and leave the battlefield outside of our doors, even when we are still being combed out of existence, brushed off, picked off frequently in the night, leaving our mothers and lovers mourning for their son. Winter never needs to come when we are taught to be cold inside. Avalanche eyes in a mountain of pain you cannot fight your way through, but Mount Everest ain't got nothing on me. I tell the mountain to move, to bow, to fall to its knees, because I got a glowing skin, exfoliate, drink more water, no stress, just shea butter and coconut oil, whole lot of yes heaven to get to, because what's more gangster? What's more gangster than loving on yourself harder than the world hates you? Thank you.
Okay, yes. Okay, Pages Matam, bless you for blessing us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been far too long. We can't let the next time be as far away.
Not at all, not at all. Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in once more to Sojourn with Words as we present the best. Certainly the poetry that you've heard, if it didn't touch your soul, there's a problem. I know the poetry that I heard has definitely set me on fire, and it's in a beautiful way. The poetry is part of life. The poetry is what allows us to connect. Please stay connected with Sojourn with Words right here on CTV, where we offer the best, and look forward to maybe the next time when you will pick up a pen and write your story through poetry. See you next time.